You wake up every morning to the same rhythm. 24 hours in a day, 365 days in a year. Sunrise, sunset. All of it built on one assumption you have never questioned: that you are standing on Earth. Change that single fact, and everything you know about time falls apart. On one planet in our solar system, a single day lasts longer than an entire year. The sun rises in the west, and your year ends before your first sunrise has even finished. On another world, one pole has been sitting in total, unbroken darkness for 21 years. No dawn, no sunrise, and it will stay dark for 21 more years before the sun finally climbs above the horizon. On another, a single year lasts so long that from the moment humans first discovered the planet in 1846, it did not complete one orbit of the sun until the year 2011. We found it, and then we waited 165 years just to watch it finish one lap. And on the world closest to us, time itself runs at a different speed than it does on Earth. Not as a theory, as a measured, proven fact. Time is not the same everywhere in our solar system. It bends, it stretches, it races on some worlds and crawls on others. This is what time really looks like once you leave home. Let's start with what we know. Earth, the only clock most people will ever experience. Our day is 24 hours, one full turn of the planet. Our year is 365 days, one full trip around the sun. These numbers feel permanent, universal, inevitable. They are none of those things. They are an accident of where we happen to live. 150 million kilometers from the sun, this exact size, this exact spin, shaped by a collision 4.5 billion years ago that formed our moon, slowed our rotation, and tilted our axis to 23.5 degrees. That tilt gave us seasons. Those seasons gave us farming. Farming gave us civilization. Every empire, every calendar, every harvest in human history sits downstream of a rock collision billions of years ago. And even now, it is still changing. The moon is slowly breaking Earth's spin. Every year, our day grows about 1.5 milliseconds longer. 600 million years ago, a day here lasted just 21 hours. The 24-hour day that built everything we are is not permanent. It is a single frame in a very long film. From the International Space Station, 400 kilometers up, an astronaut sees 16 sunrises every single day, because the station circles the whole planet every 92 minutes. From up there, our neat little days and nights look like exactly what they are: a planet spinning in the dark. Now the first planet, Mercury, the closest world to the sun. You would expect its year to be long. It isn't. Mercury races around the sun in just 88 Earth days, the shortest year of any planet. But a single day on Mercury, one full spin, takes 59 Earth days, which creates something that sounds impossible. On Mercury, a year is barely longer than a day and a half. You finish almost 2 trips around the sun before you finish one rotation. And it gets stranger. Because of the shape of its orbit, there are places on Mercury where you would watch the sun rise, stop, move backwards across the sky, stop again, and then rise a second time. The sun rises, reverses, and rises again, and a single sunrise there can take weeks. If you somehow survived Mercury, where the day side hits 430 degrees and the night side drops to -180, your sense of time would simply dissolve. Days and years would blur into each other, and your year would be over before most of us noticed a season had passed. Venus, our nearest neighbor, and the most broken relationship with time in the entire solar system. Venus takes 243 Earth days to turn once. One day on Venus lasts 243 of ours. But Venus circles the Sun in only 225 days. Read that again. The year on Venus is shorter than its day. You would celebrate a new year before your first sunrise had even finished. Time on Venus does not work. And there is one final twist. Venus spins backwards, the opposite direction to nearly every other planet. The leading theory is that long ago, something enormous struck Venus and flipped it over. The result? On Venus, the sun rises in the west and sets in the east. Every single day, the sun crosses the sky the wrong way. Beneath its clouds, Venus is a crushing, poisonous furnace. 465 degrees, 90 times Earth's pressure, rain made of acid. But ignore all of that for a moment. The strangest thing about Venus isn't the heat, it's that time itself seems to run in reverse. Mars. Of every world out here, Mars keeps the most familiar time. A day on Mars, a sol, is 24 hours and 37 minutes. So close to ours that early Mars mission teams simply shifted their schedules 37 minutes later every day to stay on Mars time. For months, those scientists drifted out of sync with Earth, sleeping at noon, working at midnight, their whole lives slowly rotating around a planet 200 million kilometers away. But the Martian year is far stranger. 687 Earth days, nearly 2 of our years for 1 of theirs. Mars has seasons because its tilt is almost identical to ours, but each season lasts about 6 Earth months. And Martian winter is brutal. At the poles it drops so low that the air itself freezes. Up to 1/3 of the entire atmosphere falls to the ground as dry ice snow, then lifts again in spring. The planet literally breathes once per long Martian year. And here Einstein enters for the first time. Mars is smaller than Earth, with weaker gravity, and according to relativity, time runs slightly faster in weaker gravity. On Mars, clocks tick a tiny bit faster than on Earth. Live there a year, return home, and you'd have aged a few microseconds more than the twin you left behind. Jupiter, the largest planet in the solar system, so massive that every other planet combined could fit inside it, with room to spare. And it spins faster than any of them. One day on Jupiter lasts under 10 hours. The biggest planet turns twice as fast as Earth. Its equator races at 45,000 kilometers per hour. So fast, the whole planet visibly bulges outward at its middle. You can see it spinning itself out of shape. A year on Jupiter, though, lasts 12 Earth years. In that single year, Jupiter turns more than 10,000 times. 10,000 days in 1 year. And it carries a storm bigger than our entire planet. The Great Red Spot has been raging for at least 350 years, a single hurricane older than the telescope that first saw it. You could never stand on Jupiter. It has no surface, just deepening layers of gas crushing into liquid, then into a metallic hydrogen core that generates the strongest magnetic field of any planet. On Jupiter, a day is a blur, a year is a decade, and the storms outlive civilizations. Saturn, the most beautiful object in the solar system. When Galileo first saw it in 1610, his telescope was too weak to resolve the rings. He thought Saturn had 2 companions beside it. He died never understanding what he'd seen. A year on Saturn lasts 29.5 Earth years. If you were born there, you'd be almost 30 before your first birthday. You'd finish school and most of a university degree before Saturn completed a single orbit. But its day is quick, just 10.5 hours. So in one Saturnian year, the planet turns more than 24,000 times. 24,000 sunrises in a single year. Saturn's storms are permanent. A vast, six-sided storm sits locked over its north pole, a shape found nowhere else in nature. And once every Saturnian year, roughly every 30 of our years, a great white storm erupts and wraps itself around the entire planet. And the rings, those perfect arcs of ice, are temporary. Gravity is slowly pulling them into the planet. In about 100 million years, they'll be gone. We are alive at the exact moment in Saturn's multi-billion-year life when its rings exist to be seen. Uranus is the strangest planet of all, not for what it's made of, but for how it lies. Uranus is tipped completely onto its side. Its axis points almost straight at the Sun. It doesn't spin upright like the others. It rolls around its orbit like a ball. And the effect on time is like nothing else. When one pole faces the Sun, that entire half of the planet gets 42 Earth years of continuous daylight. A sun that never sets for 4 decades. And the other half falls into 42 years of unbroken night. 42 years of complete, total darkness. Then the planet swings to the far side of its orbit and the two halves trade places. Your entire childhood could pass in the dark before you ever saw a sunrise. And Uranus is the coldest planet in the solar system, colder even than Neptune, which sits twice as far from the Sun. Minus 224 degrees. During those 42 years of night, the cold is absolute. Neptune, the last planet, the most distant world we have. It was found in 1846, predicted by mathematics before anyone ever saw it, because something invisible was tugging on Uranus's orbit. Astronomers calculated where that something must be, pointed a telescope, and there it was. Neptune's year lasts 165 Earth years. From the night it was discovered in 1846, it did not complete one single orbit until 2011. We discovered it, then watched for 165 years to see it finish 1 year. Its day, meanwhile, is just 16 hours, so Neptune fits nearly 90,000 of its days into one of its years. And it carries the fastest winds in the solar system, over 2,000 kilometers an hour, nearly twice the speed of sound on Earth. Only one spacecraft has ever visited, Voyager 2 in 1989. A few hours of flyby. That afternoon is still almost everything we know about it. Every planet has given us a different day, a different year, a different season. But there is one more layer. And it changes everything. Time itself flows at different speeds depending on where you stand. Einstein showed that gravity bends time. The stronger the gravity, the slower time runs. This isn't theory, it's measured every day. The GPS satellites above you correct their clocks for exactly this effect. Without the correction, your navigation would drift by 10 kilometers a day. So across the solar system, closest to the Sun, where gravity is strongest, time runs slowest. On Mars, with weaker gravity, it runs faster. Near the Sun's surface, a clock loses about 2 million years over the age of the universe compared to Earth. And near a black hole, time nearly stops altogether. There is no universal clock ticking over the solar system. There never was. We only assumed there was, because we had never left home. So, what is time? Not the clock on your wall, not the calendar on your phone. Those are things we built to bring order to a universe that keeps none of its own. Time is the turn of a planet, the length of its orbit, the tilt of its axis, the pull of gravity beneath your feet. Change any of those, and time changes with it. On Mercury, a sunrise takes weeks, and the year ends before it finishes. On Venus, the year ends before the day, and the sun rises in the wrong direction. On Mars, time almost feels like home, until the 2-year winter comes. On Jupiter, 10,000 days pass in a single year. On Saturn, your first birthday arrives when you are 29. On Uranus, you wait 42 years in darkness for a single sunrise. On Neptune, no human who has ever lived would survive to see 1 year complete. We built one clock, out of the accident of living here on this one world, at this one distance from this one star. And for all of history, we believed it was universal. It isn't. It's just ours. And it is the most precious accident in the universe.